What's up, guys? Welcome back to TCG Bros. Today we have a deck profile of Marcus's top 48 regional deck profile. He got 46th place. What'd you play at the regional?
The regional I played Gemknight-Tellars. Gemknight-Tellars with a few other things thrown into it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
Alright, so for the main deck, I played 3 Tellar Deneb. Obvious reason.
I believe that's Altair, sir?
Did I say Deneb?
Yeah, you said Deneb, man.
My bad, 3 Altair. I was playing 3 Deneb, but I decided to cut it down to 2 because you don't need to see it. That once you have it engraved, it's fine. I played 1 Unkalai, 1 Vega, and 1 Alsham. I was playing 2 Vega, but not Alsham, Regale. I was playing 2 Vega, but I mained the Regale because it's out to
Winda.
It's out to Winda. It's out to Unicorn. So it and it helped me push for OTK. So this was probably one of the more clutch cards in the original. And then for the Brilliant Fusion, you have to play the 2. I only played 2 of the Gemknights just because you don't want to draw into them, and this one's the best one out of them because it's got 1900.
Right.
Now play 2 of the Marmelio, and this is to search out some traps, obvious reasons. It just helps you +1 because with this deck you get a lot of additional normal summons. I play 1 of the Trick Clown, just for the Brilliant Fusion. You can send it to the graveyard and it pluses you.
Right.
Then 1 main deck Thunder King. This is also because you can send it to the graveyard with the Brilliant Fusion and you play the calls so you can get it to the field really quickly.
Does that not mess with your searches at all?
Not really. You can because you get additional normal summon, you can go Deneb, search, and then for your second normal summon, after you make your play, you can sit on this and you just put a board up, and you can go overlay for overlay for Tsukiyomi, which lets you get your draws.
Right.
So you can it doesn't affect you that much. Then you play 3 Brilliant Fusion, obviously one of the main cores of the deck. It's a great card. It lets you get a fusion monster, it lets you foolish a light monster, and you get an additional normal summon. So it's great.
So basically, you're just getting like 2 normal summons, a special summon, and then like you can just go off with that with an Altair in hand.
Yeah, with 1 card, you can activate this, send Deneb, and then normal summon your Altair, special the Deneb, search, or you can send if you don't have, say you just have a vanilla level 4,
right,
and you can just send the Trick Clown at that point, and then special summon it, normal summon your 4. You can go for a rank 4 play, overlay for Tsukiyomi, pitch 2. Or pitch whatever you have in hand after you set your traps, and then draw 2.
Right.
So it lets you establish a board really quickly. You play 3 Rotas, obviously. These are pretty essential, and you can set it. And then activate Tsukiyomi, and then search for whatever you tossed away.
Right.
3 Upstarts, just add for consistency. And then 2 Padualis. I played a Padualis because I focus so much on normal summons. And I'm only playing 2 Deneb, so it helps me search for the Deneb, helps me search for Marmelio, or any other good normal summon. Normal summon, Marmelio, search, Paduali, and gets to your traps.
So does that fix your bad hands? Like if you like heavy brick a lot?
I mean, it's pretty hard to brick with this deck, but when you do, this helps set up your next turn really good, or just set up a board that. Because I go first with this deck, and with a lot of the decks' format, your opponent forces you to go first, which in my case, I wanted a deck that's going to benefit me to go first.
Right.
So I set my trap cards, I can Pod Duality, normal summon, and it just helps me set up for the most optimal play to respond to their first turn.
Right.
Raigeki, this is the only other generic spell you play just because it's too good not to play. You play 3 Novas. It's pretty mandatory. You play in this deck. I wanted to focus on only playing the best traps that I felt like were for this meta, and I didn't want to play any traps that I felt like weren't optimal. Right. So I definitely maxed out on those. I played 3 Call of Haunted. I didn't play any Oasis. I felt like 3 Call was okay. Thought about 1 Oasis, but you don't want to open up a bunch of these and then nothing to pitch with. Then I played 2 Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare. These are for the Marmelios. These stop the Necros, these stop the Exitom because you're typically going to have more cards in your hand. Just any effect that activates on the field. It's just pretty good. I like it better than Fiendish. in this build just because you can search it out and it actually it negates effects and destroys a monster.
Right.
Then I play what I felt like was probably one of the best meta calls that I made for this deck, were 2 space-time trap hole, and this was pretty much the main reason I played Mermelio. I thought about since I'm playing a deck that revolves around really strong normal summons, what are the best normal summons? That's Deneb and Mermelio. And this card right here, since everyone's playing, they're playing Cosmos, they're playing Shaddolls, they're playing Ignites, and Necrons. So if they summon anything from hand, you get rid of it, or anything from the extra deck. It's like 2 extra bottomless when you're going against Ignite. Your opponent makes you go first. You set this. They get all their cards to the extra deck, they set their seal, they special summon, you shuffle it all back into the deck. With Shaddolls, they can't get their fusion back. With Cosmos, they banish as a cost, special summon the one from the hand, and it does not target, and it shuffles their monsters that get effects from being destroyed back into the deck. So it's one card, and it puts you so far ahead. I pretty much, if I have this in my hand, I'm always excited.
Alright.
Then I play the bottomless, obviously.
Right. Gotta have that bottomless.
I play 1 Phoenix Chain. I don't like it that much. It's a good card, it stops attacks. It's chainable, but I'm just not crazy about it. I felt like the other traps I played, like Time Space, Bottomless, Trap Tricks, I felt like those were, if I had to pick a card I'd rather see in my hand, it'd rather be those.
Now, why didn't you play Breakthrough Skill?
I didn't play Breakthrough Skill because I do play Traverse, so it lets me cycle it back, and I just didn't. The only cards I was really afraid of with Breakthrough Skill would be like Unicorn and the Shaddol Winda, which I main deck the Regale, so those were less of a threat to me.
Right.
And I'd rather have the monster off the board if I could. So I played it one for because I can loop it back with Traverse, but it wasn't. I didn't always want to see it in hand.
Right.
And then for my last 2 traps, I played Vanities and Solemn Warning. So I mean, when you open up, and these are just mandatory. When you open up a hand and you have traps in it, they're all traps that are gonna just really affect your opponent, really hurt them as far as making plays.
Now, with the Solemn and the Time Space, did you ever hurt yourself more than your opponent?
There were times to where I would play for the Trick Clown, I would activate the Time Space, and I would activate the Warning. But at that point, if you're paying that many life points, if you're getting that much stuff off, your opponent has negged a lot. They don't have many cards in hand, or they're not able to really make a play to where you're not going to be able to advance your game state next turn.
Right.
So it was a lot, but it's no more than playing Scolding or anything like that. I'm willing to pay 5,000 life points or 4,000 life points to shuffle my opponent's entire field back into the deck, or to stop them from completely getting the game. And it's either like you pay a little life points and live next turn, or you die next turn. So that was all for the main deck.
All right.
And I'll go ahead and I'll go through the extra deck first. For the extra deck, I played 2 of the Gemknight-Tellar, if that's how you say it.
Sephirite.
Sephirite. This was the main reason for the
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Was it?
Yeah, Sephirite.
This is the main reason for the Brilliant Fusion. If you didn't have this, the card, you could still play it. I played it in Volcanics, but it's most optimal with this. You get this in 1 light monster. That's your Clowns, that's your Tellars, that's your Thunder King, anything you need to the grave that you can call back or you can Altair back, and then it gives you additional normal summon. It doesn't activate, so when it's on the field, you get that extra normal summon.
Right. So it's kind of like Catastrophe and
Pollux.
Pollux, yeah.
Yeah, you get it. If it hits the board successfully, it's fine. It does have 0/0 attack when you summon it with the Brilliant Fusion, but it's not really relevant. Once you get your additional normal summon, it's fine. If they destroy it, it's fine. If it sits on the board, then you're even more ahead.
Right.
But it's definitely, I'd say, the heart and soul of the deck if you can draw into the Brilliant Fusion.
Right.
Outside of that, I played Tsukiyomi, which was.
This is probably your main play, right?
Yeah, this is your main play. When you open up, when you go first, and you get your normal summons off, and you have 2 lights, whether it be from the Trick Clown or the Deneb and the Altair, you already have another card in hand. And if you haven't drawn into a call or anything, you can set this in defense position. At this point, you have your Sephirite too, and you pitch what 1 card you have in hand after you set your trap, and then you draw 2 more. And like I said, the traps already put you so far ahead. If you're able to set 4 traps and sit on 2 monsters, and you know, at that point possibly have a monster in hand if you set your reinforcements of the army, if your opponent can't play that turn, honestly. Then I played Exiton, obviously. Castel Dweller for Necros, and just saying Burning Abyss or anything like that. I play the Emerald. You must play this. 1 for your Altairs and stuff like that, and 2 if you happen to draw into your Gemknight and you send 1 already, you only play 2 because you wanna see the spell more than you see the monster.
Right.
So if you happen to draw into both or play 1 already, you want to reuse the spell, then you just emerald your Gemknight monsters back. I play.
Have you considered a Jar of Avarice for that?
Someone suggested it, but I just felt like at that point you don't want to commit that. Like in this format, I feel like if you play a trap, I want it to be the best trap it can possibly be. I don't want to play a trap that's going to make me lose a game. If I set Jar of Avarice and I'm playing against Ignites and they summon 5 monsters and OTK me, at that point I couldn't do anything. If that would have been a time space, then I would have lived.
Okay.
I play Cowboy.
Right.
I play Excalibur for my towers out. And then for the Tellar monsters, I play the Ptolemaios, the Diamond. I play 2 Trevor, which at first I was just playing 1 because you don't commit so much to Tellars as you would in a normal deck because you have Remelios and stuff like that. So a lot of times you don't have 3 Tellar Knights on the board. So I didn't want to play 3. I felt 2 was fine. And I played the Deltros for obvious reasons. And then the Diamond, just to stop Burning Abyss or Shaddolls or anything like that, because those are really prevalent. And then the last one I played was Durandal. Durandal won me a couple games. A lot of people suggested not to play it, but its effect to set. You can settle that back row and then make this, and you can either shuffle their hand back in when they activate a card that searches, or you can just turn it into an MST, which I look at as like a solemn judgment. You know, it's for you to be able to stop any effect at that point, or normal effect is really strong. You can either make it with the Ptolemaios, or if you have one of these on board and you happen to have another one in hand and you summon it and they don't respond to that summon. I won a game like this in regional. I just overlaid with them, and the guy had Pleiades on the field, and at that point he realized that he had lost that game. He couldn't respond with the Pleiades because at that point it was MST to some dead spells and traps. But yeah, the only other thing in the extra deck, people thought I should play the Ragnomian, but like I was saying, you don't commit so much to having Tellars on the board, so you don't always have. At most you're gonna have 3 Tellars on the board. If you have 4 on the board, that means you've used both of your normal summons and your Altair, and you're able to get a monster that they can't destroy and it gains the effects and they can't normal summon that turn. But your traps a lot of times do more than that. And if you're able to make 2 generic 4s, that are able to either let you draw into more traps or stop them or put on more field presence, then I like that a little better than just stopping them from 1 turn, because with 1 monster I'm using 4 monsters. So I would play it if I was able to use the 5th effect, but I can't think of one time in the regional where I was able to have 5 Tellars on the board and be able to blow up their field. So I didn't think it was as good.
Alright, and you have side deck, right?
Yes.
Alright.
Side deck, I'm missing 1 card in it just because I borrowed it from a friend.
Okay.
I played 3 of the Imperial Iron Wall. Obvious reasons, it doesn't affect you whatsoever, and it's just down, I'd say a good 80% of what people are playing currently. I play 3 MSTs. I thought about main decking 2, but the deck is so it's just, you don't need to see this in the main. The only thing you lose to completely is skill drain, and at that point it's a 1 of, and you're only seeing it playing against
Burning Abyss
and Cleese.
Yeah.
And I mean it hurts, but I'd rather not, since you're going first. It makes your first turn worse. You know, I'd rather see a trap that's going to stop them than MST, if I'm potentially playing Necros, it's not going to benefit me.
Right, because the only thing you're going to be worried about is 2 matchups out of like 10 meta decks.
Yeah, and at that point, I'll side in the MSTs, and it's fine.
Right.
I did play 2 Droll Unlock. A lot of people aren't playing this, but I like it a lot. Yeah, they get one add off of it, but it stops them. Like they'll go. If I'm playing against Necros, they'll go Manju into the Kaleidoscope, and at that point you drop it because you know that they're going to go Kaleidoscope and Unicorn, sending the Herald, which at that point it negates that, and they're not able to do anything else. So they'll sit with a Unicorn on board. They don't play mini traps, so they'll just kind of pass turn. At that point, you can summon Regale, attack over, and you can go for game, or you can just set up a board that's really hard to break. So it's always great when I drew into it. You can also do the play with the Durandal. If they drop a Max C on you, you can make, and you have Droll Unlock in hand, you can make the Durandal and drop the Droll Unlock, and you can make them pitch their whole hand, and they can't add any cards back to their hand.
Wow.
So
that's insane.
Yeah, and people with the Retaliating C and all the other cards like that, people were either, if you're going against Cosmos, they're either maining 3 Max C, they're siding 3 Max C, or at least 2. So it was a real big card at this regional, and I feel like this format. So I feel like Droll Unlock is pretty good in that sense. Then I played 2 Black Horns of Heaven. Counter traps are really good.
Yeah, nobody's playing Wiretap anymore.
Yeah, nobody's playing Wiretap, and these cards are so versatile. I mean, Ignites, for the people who are still playing the Ritual Beast, and just went in the Tellar Mirror match, it puts you so far ahead. You've got another counter trap that's going to negate that summon, so they're not going to get the effects that have to activate while they're on the field.
Right.
So it's really good. It's good against Cleese. I feel like almost every deck besides some. Then I played 3 Flying C, which I felt like was one of the best cards aside this format. It doesn't hit Cosmos and Necros, but outside of that, I mean, Burning Abyss, anything that overlays, it's a really good card.
I mean, it can stop the clown spam for the rank 4s, right?
And it does do that. I don't typically side it in for Shaddoll Clowns because.
Well, yeah, that's just bad. They can just fuse with it and stuff.
Yeah, or anything like even the Necros Clowns, the stuff that plays Clowns, I don't really side it in because a lot of times they go for the rank 4 plays, but not enough to where I feel like I need to side it in. If I could, also the Tom Space stops them from specials from the hand. So at that point, I'd rather see my traps because I can't kill them without killing this. So I'd have to kill them in 1 turn, which isn't like the main focus of the deck. And then my last 2 cards were Defusion. I played Defusion for a few reasons. One, because Shaddoll Clowns were so prevalent. You got heroes, and I didn't expect anybody else to be playing the deck of mine. So I didn't anticipate that, but I felt like it can be used offensively and defensively. If you play Brilliant Fusion and then you summon this guy, you can get your normal summons off. And then if they don't respond to a summon or anything, or you can attack, and then during the battle phase you can defuse it and then summon 2 level 4s. At that point you can either attack for game, or you can overlay for a rank 4 during main phase 2, or during the main phase after you've used his effect. So it just lets you set it up even more at that point.
So it's either you can like sit on a bunch of traps for a couple turns, or you can just OTK your opponent.
Yeah, if you're playing against Shaddolls, you can set it, and if they don't respond, if they don't put a fusion out that you need to get around, you can hit the window, send it back because they're trying to stop you. They think you're playing. They know you're playing Tellars, so they summon the window the majority of the time. But you can either search for Gale, or you can hit them with a defusion, and they're sending 2 Shaddolls at that point. So it's just good. Window won't get an additional effect, and it stops them from getting the fusion back, which you're gonna have an extra deck monster on the field, so you don't want them to have the fusion back if you can't trigger them or anything.
Okay. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a extra. That was a side extra and the main. So I feel like it's a great deck. I was testing the deck. I was originally just playing Gemknights,
Right.
And I played pure Gemknights. I played volcanic Gemknights because you could send pyros, and it was cool. But I thought about it for a while, and I did a lot of testing with it. And I figured out that Gemknights in themselves, the core of it, it's not that great of a deck. The monsters aren't that great, but the spells are phenomenal. And I tried to break it down in a more simplistic way, and I said, well, what is the main focus of the deck? What's the best opening, and what are the best cards for the deck? And Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion is by far, hands down, I feel like almost one of the best cards of the format. It's one card that gives you so many pluses, and it puts you so far ahead. So I thought about what would I have to do to be able to tech this into other decks? What decks would it be best in? And first I was playing, I tested it out with Shaddolls, and it's good with Shaddolls because you're able to send your clowns and you're able to OTK, but at that point, one of the main reasons you're using the Sephirite is for the additional normal summon, and Shaddolls don't have that strong of a normal summon outside of the Mathematician, but that's only 3 cards, and you don't really want to normal summon your Shaddolls unless you're going for an OTK, so it wasn't that beneficial. So I figured, what other decks have great normal summons, and that was Tellar Knights, and then I thought about throwing in the Mermelios, and I've been somebody suggested, and I've tested out playing more clowns in it, and that's still something that I'm considering, maybe playing 2 Tsukiyomis and pitching the clowns and then getting stuff back, but for now, I'm really happy with the build. The games I play, I open up well, and I have pretty good matchups against everything. I really don't have any complaints about it. It performed well, and my only losses were I lost to Cleese because they had skill drain. I lost to Shaddol Clowns because at the regional I didn't main a second Trevor, and it just I don't know what I was thinking, and it really set me behind. It made me lose that game. And then my last loss was to a Cosmo player who it was a great game. We went to game 3, and I ended up losing in turns. So it was definitely good, and it got me top. Got me my first regional top, so I was pretty excited about it. But yeah, that's the deck profile.
All right, thank you, Marcus. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.